Hello, my name is Nicole and welcome to my channel. Today I am making a diaper castle and this is for the birth of my first grandchild, and I'll list the supplies in the description box. But the total of diapers that were used were 222 and they were the store brand, so it was only $5. My daughter is helping and she is showing how we rolled up the diapers, and we used clear elastic rubber bands so that the black ones that we kept trying to not use wouldn't show as much on the white background of the diapers. So now we're kind of tag teaming it so that it can go a little faster. I did speed up the camera, but it seemed like it was better for her to roll and me to apply the rubber bands. With so many diapers, it really saved time. So here are the diapers and I am getting started. I used an elastic band and I started with 3 diapers, and then I just added as I went along. I am starting with the tiers of the castle, and each tier were different numbers, but I'm doing the second row. The second row was 13 diapers. The third row was 8 diapers, and the fourth row, which was the top of the tower, were 5 diapers. I had the bottom, I used 114 diapers, and the middle of the tier, right above the bottom of the tier, I used 19 diapers. So I know it's kind of confusing to hear, but I'll list everything in the description box. So my thought process with getting the tiers constructed were, if I could just get all the tiers out the way, and then there are some cardboard stock that I have to cut. So I figured if I can just get everything done and then save the construction for the end, it wouldn't seem so long. But the project did take a couple hours because I had to stop at one point and take care of household duties, and then I continued. So this particular tier is the middle, the second row of the tier, and it was the middle tier. So it's the one that's going to kind of house the highest tower. So I wanted to make it pretty thick. So the elastic rubber bands only holds about maybe 5 diapers. So I did grab some thicker rubber bands from Staples that were really big, and they held the 114 diapers in the bottom tier pretty well. So I did buy twine from Michael's, but I ended up not using it because the rubber bands really reinforced all the bunches that I had and kept them in place without breaking. So I went back over each bunch with a couple rubber bands just to make sure that once I had the castle constructed and I take them to the banquet room where we're having the baby shower, that they wouldn't unexpectedly break on me and all diapers go flying everywhere. So you'll see towards the middle of the video that I cover up the rubber bands with a pretty ribbon that I tie around all of the columns or bunches or whatever you want to call them. This is the bottom tier that holds the most of the diapers, and I didn't include this in the supplies, but I did end up grabbing a empty toilet paper holder to kind of have a good round base, and it worked out pretty well. So as I constructed them, I added bigger rubber bands just to keep the diapers in place, but these rubber bands I found were really good, and you'll end up seeing how huge it is. And I know you may not necessarily want a big castle that I constructed, But I saw the picture of a castle on Pinterest and it was so beautiful. There was a crowd of people around it taking pictures. But of course with Pinterest there's usually no instructions. So I kind of just stared at it for a month and brought the supplies as I was out to different stores. And I wanted the castle to be just as big and beautiful as the picture I saw. So this one is pretty big. But like I said, you don't have to necessarily construct one as big as mine. But it is my first grandchild. And, you know, we tend to go a little bit overboard with our first loves, first children, first grandchild. So I wouldn't have it any other way. Also, another thing that my daughter pointed out, the diapers that we had purple labels on them. So what I was trying to do is kind of turn the purple labels kind of inside so that the white of the diapers would show. Not that it's a big deal, it is a boy's baby shower. But there was a good bit of white that I could kind of swivel them around so that the purple didn't show as much. And unfortunately, I started out with 4 packs of diapers and it simply wasn't enough. So I did stop the video, run back to the store, grab 2 more packs. It was just the store brand. They were only $5. And I continued with the video. And here is the huge bow that I found at Michael's. It's so beautiful. And it ended up being a 2.5-inch bow by 10 yards. And I just wrapped it around the column, cut it, and I didn't glue it, which I have several glue guns. It just was going to take too long for me to hold it and I didn't want to burn myself. So I ended up just stapling it, which was easy to hide since it's in back of the castle. I tied the second tiers with a royal blue bow, which is the colors of the shower. They're royal blue and gold. So as you can see, I'm lifting the ribbon up to kind of hide the rubber bands, but it worked pretty well. I wanted to kind of different color variations, so I did the top tier in the same color as the bottom, but I kind of just mix and match the different levels of the castle. In this, I am making some cones for the top of the tower, and I'm using like a sandwich plate. It's not as big as a dinner plate. It's about the size of a paper plate. So I'm cutting the circle out, and you have to cut a slit in it in order to construct the cone. And as you can see, the one direction doesn't really work. So I had to go the other direction, and that still didn't work. And what I found out is that I didn't cut the slit as deep as it could have been. And because I didn't, I was rushing and I didn't get a ruler, but just a little bit, not even a half an inch, kind of worked. And you just keep going and going and going. The more you go around the cone, the taller the spear is. So I wanted it to be a pretty nice sized cone. So as you can see, it's turned out pretty good. I took a piece of tape to tape the sides up, and I am making the walls and the blocks of the tower. And I just have this pretty teal cardstock. I'm going to use that and the color white to kind of just put a little fun variation in the castle. So I put some slits in it, and then every other one I kind of fold back, and then I'm going to cut that off. And I'm going to tuck it into the ribbon of each of the bunches that I have, just so it kind of looks fun, just to kind of build a replica of what the towers would look like on a realistic castle. I am making the flags for the top of the post, and I folded white cardstock in half, and I cut it up the middle, and then I just made kind of like a V formation of each one of the ones. And I took some 5 blue straws and I cut them, and they're going to represent the flag poles. And I just put a little glue in the middle there, and also a little to hold the flag closed. And it's best to fold the cardstock in half so that you don't have to cut out 2 flags for each side. This kind of worked pretty good. And I'm putting them on the cones, and what I realized is that I had to kind of split the straws at the bottom so that they could slide on the top of the cones. I put a little bead of hot glue, and I had to hold it for maybe 30 seconds or so that it could kind of bond to the plastic straw. And I did make 5 cones. And I am cutting the ribbon for the drawbridge. I made a little drawbridge. I just cut some cardstock out in kind of like a oval formation. Nothing fancy, for I am not an artist. And I cut 2 thin strips of the ribbon for the rope or the chain on the side of the drawbridge. And I'm going to glue them down with a little bit of the hot glue. And now I am constructing the castle. So this part was pretty fun, but it also took a while. A lot I really edited out because the Pampers had to be shaped, shaped. So I did cut a piece of cardstock just so the towers could have a more bit of a flat surface. And I did forget to mention, I did cut cardstock out of the color white for the bottom of the cones, and I did add those with tape. This is exactly how I saw it on the picture on Pinterest. So I kind of forgot once I glanced at the picture. So I had to go back and put that small element to it. And I think it really made it look pretty fun. So this is the finished product. I am so happy it turned out. It took a really long time, but I think I kind of went overboard with the diapers, but I think it was well worth it. Thank you so much, and please subscribe.